Hi there, welcome to the video. Welcome if you're currently here in the live premiere. Today we're continuing on with the discussion about the missing individual known as Christine Passey Parker. We'll be referring back to the maps. This is like a theory-based video. Ideas which have been collected by a couple of people that have watched my videos in recent time. Give my own thoughts as well and see if we can come to an understanding. And that is the theory of, what if Christine Parker never left Eugene Mountains? You know, where her vehicle was found by the hunter, August 15th, I believe. What if Christine is still somewhere within that area? And focus needs to be put there in case she may have got lost, got injured, and some people have been suggesting kidnapped. Now, as said, it's just a theory. I want to make that clear so people don't get too confused. Yes, in recent time, there have been numerous sightings here and there, and mainly in Las Vegas, right? As I mapped out in my previous video. If you do want to hear more about that, make sure to check my previous video out and the one before that. Link down below in the pinned comment section. Make sure to catch up on it, because, you know, it was very interesting and I noticed a few patterns there. But there is one big but, and that is, has anyone taken photos of Christine yet? Anyone out there in the open, in public, who may have seen her or saw a person that looked like her, has anyone taken photos? No, not at all. So you can't say it's 100% confident certainty that Christine is actually in that state, in that city or town, right? So with that level of uncertainty, it still opens up room for discussions and ideas. And if we're tracing back to a starting point, or at least the last known supposed location she was at, which you could argue Eugene Mountains, with a truck being found there, then it's like scouting around the area, looking at it on the maps, if there's any additional images, and theorizing possibilities, okay? I guess there's no harm in doing it. I just want to be careful with this video, because don't want any confusion or anything like that. If there are any friends or family members of Christine watching this video, by the end of this video, let me know if it's worthwhile doing these theory videos. 1, to keep the case alive. 2, to spread the awareness of what the case is all about and who is the actual missing person. And thirdly, you know, is there a decent measure of valid thoughts and possibilities which could lead to a form of success? Well, let me know all of your thoughts and reviews down below in the comment section after watching this video. And if it is somewhat positive, then I guess it's worth continuing in the future if there is genuine stuff to talk about. Sure, I've done it with Dylan Rounds, and that was quite open-ended, open to interpretation. But the main reason in that regard why it became so open and you could think outside of the box was because, how should I word it? Well, 1, the Dylan Rounds case became a bit of a mess. People didn't know what was true, what was false, what was BS, what was the real story. So it was a free-for-all. So you could be excused for thinking differently because the genuine stuff was already a mess. Doesn't seem to be the case here. You get what I'm saying? There's a difference. And as well, within the Dylan Rounds case, once it got to a certain point where there was a level of acceptance and understanding that it was foul play involved, that's what then led to new ideas opening up. With the Christine Parker case, it's simply being treated as a missing person case at this moment in time. And in a way, you would prefer it to stay that way rather than it be treated as true crime or anything like that, because then, you know, it's got a real negative, right? So certain discussion points are possible at this moment in time, but maybe other areas aren't at this moment. It all depends what the updates are and how they follow, right? Such as by the family, such as on the Facebook page. This is like the early stages of a missing person case, right? So just want to try and follow it as best as one can. Just take in mind, once again, this is yet another first time thing. Me covering a case, mainly by myself, at least on YouTube, but also more importantly, covering a missing person case early on in the actual case. As you know, previous ones I've covered, I've been a month late, I've been years late. This time it's kind of more real time. And when it's more real time, it's more of a focus. And I don't know, you just want to try and do it as perfect as possible so it doesn't get muddied, the case, the information, right? The odd person did email and just add on some additional details, which I think were covered in recent videos, so that's okay there. I did reply back to that email in the background just regarding, is it possible for Nate Eaton to do an interview with the family or friends, something like that, if Christine's from, you know, somewhere in Idaho, right? I forgot the name of it, apologies, but, you know, could Nate Eaton do some kind of interview? Because like East Idaho News has already covered the case in brief, one of their articles online. So, you know, if they did it with Dylan Rounds, they probably could do it with Christine as well. It would help spread awareness, right? Give that a bit of an extra boost or push. But yeah, it's like a theory video today. You can share your thoughts, opinions, and reactions in the live chat box on the right-hand side of the screen. What we can also do, and we'll probably start off with it first, just to set the record straight, is just simply look back at previous comments of my recent videos on this case, answer any questions if there are any, and just like update any additional information which has been given by key people, as I believe one of the questions was answered and responded to maybe the sister. Well, we'll find out in a second. One last thing, shout out to Maria. Of course, shout out to Maria for her presence last night. Who else was there? Badger, I'm sure. Badger Life. And maybe another person, I can't quite remember, but shout out to them for last night. It's very good of them. And yeah, we just continue on with these cases at this moment in time. I was going to do a Kenny Veach case coverage, but just wasn't able to focus. Didn't have that flow, stumbling over words. There's no point covering something if you can't do a good job at it at that moment, so that'll have to wait for now. I am using a new tripod at this moment in time. It might seem a bit higher up. Hopefully, as for the audio, you can hear. If not, just turn the volume up. It's simple as that. I do remember in the past, there was actually a trend where back then, maybe a year or two ago, people were whinging and whining on my channel saying, oh, it's too quiet, it's too quiet. It's like, bitch, just turn it up. You know, you got volumes there, you got a speaker there, you got headphones there, use it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like more so in recent time where people say you talk too slow, well, put it on ×2 speed. There's options to make it better and improve it for yourself, so why not make use of it? This original tripod, as you see, it's pretty simple. Good height and everything. I don't know, it's probably just plastic and everything. This one is better, but what happened was that snapped off. It used to be like a stick, but it snapped off, and then what you twist around, I don't know, I've got it stuck now. And even when it's not stuck, it's too loose. I think what doesn't help is the actual phone itself, you know, the actual phone I'm using to record these videos, because it weighs quite a bit, it's pulling the tripod down. That's why sometimes it might look like I'm not looking up at the camera, but I'm more so like looking down at it, and you might see it move at time, maybe in the past, but nothing I can do about it when you got shit technology and just shit equipment. You know, it's just like that within this world. Maybe stuff back then built better, but now not made to last, right? It's just one of those things. Is there anything else to address or to acknowledge? I mean, if you're interested in a bit of Dylan Rounds talk, I did a video last night. You can check that out if you wish to. There might be some talks here and there on the Dylan Rounds case elsewhere. I feel that it could lead to noise, and that's about it until there's a true update. If I do have any updates or anything like that, then I will cover a video on it. But at this moment in time, there's really not much to talk about at all, okay? Just as a heads up, anybody watching right now, as far as the Dylan Rounds case and coverage, there's really not much to talk about at all, at least from my list of videos, which I have, got them all done, right? That's why I'm covering this case now, and that's why I'm able to focus a bit better, because I'm looking at this and only this at this moment in time. So yeah, let's head on over to the comments of yesterday's video and maybe the one before that and see what's recently been talked about. Well, here we are on the first video. I'm just going to adjust it to the newest comments, not too many to get through, and then I'll look at the last video I covered and the comment section there. Just do it one by one. Hopefully there's no background noise or anything. I'm trying to hold this tripod, but it is a bit unstable, so yeah, that's typical. But we got Maria here saying hello. Got Cleo as well saying thank you, you're welcome. We got Leanne here saying, just caught this live, thank you so much, Warlike Ref, the family really appreciate it. So far we are working in the Las Vegas area because of a tip. Lots of homeless camps around there. Also the Oregon area because of a tip. Thank you again for getting the word out. No problem, you're welcome. It's good that family members approve and appreciate the videos, so that's all good there. Hopefully people understand the language, wording and coverage of this video, and I'll just reiterate it once again if anyone has just suddenly joined late. The aim of this video is simply thinking of alternatives so that if at any point those tips in the areas like Oregon or Las Vegas fall through, you still have something to fall back on, which would be Eugene Mountain, okay? I'm taking into account what viewers have said recently and looking at it from their point of view. And that is all for now, okay? Let me just adjust the tripod a bit. It's playing up. Right, okay. So yeah, we have been looking at Las Vegas recently, looking at the homeless places, Salvation Army, possibilities that she could be hanging around that area, but if she was, the potential dangers towards her, maybe not so much as like towards general public if they were going to go out there and try search. So there was like warnings ahead if people are within the area trying to look about, just to be alert and wary because you don't want to get injured, hurt or anything bad to happen, right? So that's understandable. We got Glenn as well. We got Christy saying, hope she'll be found safe soon. We got Lady Parker saying, I'm her sister. I can confirm that the dogs are not chipped, unfortunately. So that's good. We've got another key person coming on into the channel and a part of the case within. So that's good to hear. Yeah, so welcome to the channel, Lady Parker. That's how you say it. You're saying that the dogs are not chipped. They've got no microchip, so it's hard to track and trace them. Okay, so that is unfortunate. Yeah. My only question would be, besides that, what about a dog tag? What about a dog collar around its neck? Do the dogs have that? Were they wearing it at the time? Feel free to answer down below. Because I don't know if it applies to the US, but at least in the UK, when I've come across dogs or the odd dog in the family, they've had a dog collar, dog tag, whatever it's called. And then on the back of it, it said, here's a number, phone up if missing. Does that apply here or not? Just out of interest. As well, Lady Parker says, thank you so much for giving this case your time. We all love her much. We just need to bring her home. I'm her sister and we won't give up. Thank you again for the help. You're welcome. So all positive at the moment. So that's good to know. What's the response here? Yeah, got Clear as well saying thank you. So all in all, at the moment, even though it's like a negative time for some people out there, the family and stuff, it's positive at the moment. There's some kind of movement forward, some kind of progress if you take into account the tips and the the spottings of Christine supposedly. Anyway, let's go on to the next video and catch up with the additional comments. I'll just adjust them once again. We've got a couple more comments this time round. Maybe not all of it will be related to Christine. Some of it might be related to Dylan Rounds and stuff, but there's no harm in just catching up with the comments in general so they don't get forgotten about. We've got Foolish Fool, whoever they are, shout out to them. New viewer coming on in. We got the Cat Lady saying hi. Got Cleo, thank you, welcome. Glenn once again. Tiny Alien Gal saying, really appreciate how hard you came to many conclusions about things regarding the Kenny Veach mystery. That's good to hear. It's I think I've seen you before in the past, Tiny Alien, so it's good of you to stick around. Appreciate that. And yeah, there'll always be times of coverage on the Kenny Veach case. I wanted to do some kind of video today, but I wasn't able to focus. That's why I'm making this video. Jumping and hopping about case to case isn't quite my style. I mean, if I tried it, it probably wouldn't go too well. So that's why I'm just sticking to what I have been doing for this time. And when there's a day where I feel more focused on other areas, then I'll try and cover it. Okay, the Kenny Veach stuff. Smooth Fishing. I think the spring cleaning regarding the Dylan Rounds case is what hurt the case the most. I think Brenner got rid of everything that could have incriminated him. Possibilities, you never know, right? I mean, when I think of spring cleaning, I think of an opportunity where key items of interest could have been taken. Everything, exactly? Not quite sure. There could be some other things elsewhere. But what would those items be regarding the Dylan Rounds case? Was it Brenner's clothing? Not really, because Brenner's top or shirt was found in his trailer, which incriminated him because of the blood stains upon it, which were of Dylan's blood. Couldn't have been that. Could it have been maybe a firearm, items used, objects present at the scene of the crime being disposed of, cleared up, maybe. But it remains a mystery, right? But I think there's a high probability that some of the stuff at least could have been incriminating evidence upon Brenner. Maybe somebody else, you never know. Will they ever be found? I don't know. I've always asked this question, what's going to be found first? Dylan Rounds' remains or the bag of evidence or potential evidence from the spring cleaning? Which do you think will be found first? Let me know down below. We got Jacqueline saying, I've been away because I'm following 4 murder cases and needed to get caught up with court hearings and other stuff. I don't follow missing people as a rule, but I'm sure you'll be as diligent with this missing female and I hope she turns up soon. Back to Dylan, I was wondering if TBI or whoever are busy behind the scenes getting red to push forward. None of these agencies give a lot away until they're ready. Fingers crossed for news soon. Well, I'm not too sure about that. I don't know who TBI are. But to be honest, you say you don't really follow missing people cases as much or so, but technically the Dylan Rounds case is still a missing person case because it was treated as that from the beginning, and technically it still applies now. Yeah, it might be seen as more of a recovery mission, but whether it be Dylan Rounds alive at the time, possibly, he's missing, he's not been found. And now, Dylan's remains, not been found, so they're missing. So it's a missing person true crime case. That's the best way of wording it. As for Christine Passey Parker, it's simply a missing person case. But depending what the updates follow and the evidence found, it may no longer be a missing person case, or it could still be, but with additions on it. You know, one question, just in general. If anyone can answer it, feel free to do so. When you have a missing person case, is that more of a popular topic compared to a missing person true crime case? Is there much of a difference? Are more people interested in a missing person true crime case over the likes of a a simple person gone missing, and that's about it. Just let me know your thoughts down below, because I didn't follow it with Dylan Rounds because I was kind of late to it, but in the early days, and very in the early days, probably not for that long, it was treated as just a missing person, and then it transitioned into more true crime because of foul play. Did it lead to more people watching all of a sudden? I wonder. I'm kind of like tying it in line with what Jacqueline is saying here. Jacqueline is more focused on true crime cases and stuff like that. Well, what if, and obviously people aren't going to like this, but what if the case what I'm covering now just happened to turn into true crime? Does it gauge everyone's interest all of a sudden? I wonder. Do people suddenly just jump on over? And, once again, you don't want a case like this. You don't want any missing person case to turn into a true crime case, because it's not going to be a good outcome, is it? So if it's going to be a missing person case, it's best remaining as that. So then hopefully the outcome is more positive, right? But it makes me think, if something turns into true crime, is that where the toxicity comes on in? Because I feel that true crime equals toxicity, and missing person mystery equals less toxicity if it's a simple missing person case. It might not seem as interesting towards the general public because there's not as much mystery, intrigue, or darkness, but there might be less disorder, less disruption, and that's a positive. It's like pros and cons, right? I'm just thinking about it on the spot because I don't normally think of it. Okay? Let's move on. Great video. Thank you. You're welcome. Good afternoon. Okay, so that's it for the comments there. So at least it clears like one key thing up about the dogs not being microchipped, so harder to find and locate. But do they have dog collars? I wonder. And what else needs to be addressed very briefly? So Miss T, guidance. If you're present right now, I saw that photo, the CCTV footage one. If that's the one you're talking about where she didn't have dogs. In that photo she did. Do you have a different photo? Do you have any additional CCTV footage photos? Because the one what I saw from you was the one I saw on Facebook within that missing person flyer post, where it was supposedly her checking into one of the hotels in Battle Mountain, Nevada, and was denied access because the card was declined or something, so she wasn't able to spend the night there. So if there's any additional photos or CCTV footage, if you're in the position where you can and if you want, I guess feel free to reach out. If we can find additional CCTV footage or a still photo, it could prove vital. And then being able to maybe map it out, track it down on the maps, and then go from there. We'll see what happens, of course. But I think now, what we will do is transition onto Google Earth anyway and look back at the mountain area to take into account what some of the viewers have been thinking recently. Well, here we are back on the maps, as you can see. What I just want to ask as a heads up, I don't know if I'll do it as a poll or a poll on the community tab section, but do you think there's ever a time where we need to create another project so it doesn't get too cluttered up? Like on here right now, it's okay because it's scattered about. But do you know, like when we did the Dylan Rounds case and I did the different map analysis for different events and occasions, I did about 10 plus. Now, do I need to do that here within the Christine Passey Parker case? Do I just keep what we've got on screen and then add to it over time? Or do you think there comes a time where I need to create an alternative project so it doesn't clutter it up? Just let me know all your thoughts down below so I know what's best to do in the future, okay? But yeah, if anyone has just randomly joined or new to this case or new to my channel, what's marked out on here, besides towards the middle of the screen on the left-hand side, top and bottom are like places. Well, no, actually, not the one in the middle. Apologies about that. That one there with the star. These ones down here. as well as this one are all possible sightings of where Christine has been, okay? Not saying that she's been seen at every single spot, as mentioned, just potential sightings, and that is all. No photos taken. So it still has that mystery of where is she really? And some people believe that Christine didn't make it far to begin with. More context being down here. Make sure we're facing north. Whilst, yes, she was seen on CCTV camera within this area at Battle Mountain at one of the motels, and then likely leaving, considering she was not there by the time the husband arrived. A vehicle being found all the way over that way, where it says August 15th, car found by Hunter. At least on August the 6th, likely driving in that direction by herself with her dogs, likely. One thing I didn't add onto the marker, nearby, I don't know, whereabout is it? There we go. Nearby to Winnemucca, either beforehand, is it down here, Golconda? Is that what people were talking about, where that final phone ping or something was at Golconda? And people said it's a rough area. It's got a bad signal or a bad reception. Correct me if I'm wrong. I do remember people saying it was near Winnemucca, okay? Highland Park there. Oh, it's not processing, is it, loading in? It's really slow. That's a shame. Any other named locations? Not really. You got Dun Glen Peak over there to the left. I just wanted to mention it about the phone ping nearby to Winnemucca. And then after that, no more pings because her phone died, low battery. Which is unfortunate. I mean, if the phone never died, maybe it might have been possible to try and track her better. But then again, you got to think about it. The phone was found and left by the side of a car at Eugene Mountains. So likely it probably would have been left behind. I think it was Badger saying last night or the night before that if Christine needed a recovery, a pickup or something, some kind like that, it just wouldn't be possible or doable, mainly because you'd need money on hand at the time to be able to pay for the repairs, pay for the service. And if she didn't have money at the time and her cards declined, what could she do about it? Not much. I think Badger did say that there was another story in the past where somebody else was on a dirt road, took a wrong turn, ended up getting lost, needed a recovery or something, waited about 2 days or so, and it didn't go too well for them in the end, which is unfortunate. But just like an example of what can happen when you're left high and dry. So we are just want to refer back to Golconda if that's what people were talking about, if it's a rough area. I mean, it looks like a quiet place, neighbourhood small, looks a bit more rough. Do we have any? Well, we do, don't we? Should we just refer to this right now? I mean, as said, this is a pre-recorded video, so don't be pulling your hair out if I'm not answering your responses in the chat or corrections on the spot. I'll be able to read them when I'm watching the video during the live premiere, but not whilst making it because this is earlier on in the day, okay? But I just want to look at Golconda before we go any further, right? Because if some people are saying that Christine could have been kidnapped or someone dodgy might have been present nearby and one of the final phone pings was near Winnemucca, either just before or just after, and looking at a location like this as an example, is it rough? Is it dangerous? Is it a dodgy place to be in? Maybe, maybe not. Correct me if I'm wrong. But if it was, and Christine is passing through, Did she stop? Maybe, if she was accessing a phone. Maybe pulled up. Did anyone try break entry? Did anyone try hijacking the truck? I don't know. The only way to maybe know would be eventually the DNA reports, lab reports, if that did happen, on the truck itself and the phone, to see if anything was found upon it, if anyone else was present, right? What does that say? Sibbald Street Park and Ride. So people can park up there on the right-hand side. Do we have any motels? Waterhole, country store and bar. Food, drink, bar and grill. To be honest, this looks more rough than Montello, Nevada, if I'll be honest with you. Just looks very quiet, unless this is the back entry. Trailer spaces, waterhole, food and drink. Does look a bit dodgy, that. See, this is the thing. If Christine was trying to get a motel room for the night or so back at Battle Mountain, Nevada, was she doing that because she was still confused? Or was she doing that because she was confused as to why she ended up at the place and decided to try and book in just to stay there, somewhere safe, some kind of accommodation, until she got picked up, because the call to the husband was made before booking into the motel. So did Christine make the call saying, I need help, I need picking up, I don't know why I'm here? Husband is like, don't worry, stay where you are, we're coming, we'll help you. And then Christine at the time is like, right, I guess whilst I'm waiting, I'll book a room at this motel whilst I wait. Is that the correct order? Could that have been her thought process at the time? Do you think there's a possibility that Christine, after leaving Battle Mountain, Nevada, tried going elsewhere to find accommodation for the night? Or not possible? Probably not, to be honest. If the cards decline, that's it. It's just not going to work. And if you don't have any money on you at the time, then what can you do? So maybe after leaving Battle Mountain, Nevada, the aim wasn't finding a motel because she couldn't afford it or had the funds for it at the time. But we're looking at this area at least because in a way it does pass on through. It does pass on through. I mean, over there, that's the highway, isn't it? So maybe it does cut off or it links on. I'll have to have a look back at the maps. But if this is a rough area, I just wanted to have a look at it. Ground level at least. I mean, there's quite a few trailers. And there's quite a bit of open space as well. Bit of old imagery, that. Look at all those trailers scattered down there. Slightly old imagery, that. Let's click off for a second. So that's the highway she would have driven down in that. Make sure we're facing the right way. Yeah. The red line is the highway she would have gone down to eventually get to Eugene Mountain. And I'm just simply looking at locations just beforehand to see if there was any potential stops. Did she stop to get any gas or attempt to? Did she just simply stop to access a phone, to get a breather? I don't know. Because if she ever did stop at a point, did that make her vulnerable or prone to anyone getting involved in some way? It just looks kind of sparse and empty. There's a lot of empty patches, right, besides the trailers. So is this a dodgy area? Can anyone confirm? Is it a dangerous area or is it okay? It's called Golconda, so let me know. I don't see any like little viewing areas, so that's not possible. And then over there looks like some kind of business. I mean, there's pivots nearby, so farming related. Winnemucca here, more developed, with a museum. Apologies about the blur, it's just Google Earth once again, silly technology taking forever to load on in. Following it all the way down to about Mill City. Did someone say there was a truck stop near Mill City? But I missed it out last time. I don't know if it's actually named truck stop. Just wait for this to load on in for a second, apologies. I mean, you got that area there, whatever that is. Is that the truck stop? There seems to be things parked up. And you got J&S Ranch, Thunder Mountain. But then over there, it looks like, I don't know what that is in the ground. It's like a hole or something. Sand. To be honest, it looks more like sand in a way. That's interesting, that. Right, just give me a second. What I'm going to do, I'm just going to refresh this all because it's unacceptable, the stupid Google Earth. This is trash. Just give it a quick cut. Okay, so hopefully it loads up a bit quicker now and it's a bit more responsive. Well, I hope so. If not much I can do about it at this moment in time. But in this area here, is it like mining? Looks like there's holes in the ground, stuff going on, track marks. Would someone like Christine wander off in this direction? Probably not. Probably not. But is this the truck stop? What people were talking about? It's hard to tell, to be honest. I see vehicles, but I can't see any trucks. I see buildings. What about just going ground level, just to see? Might be a bit easier. No, even that's trash, the quality. It looks more like RVs or something parked up. It didn't seem to be named either, so that's silly. It looks like some kind of stop. But would Christine have gone over to it? I don't know. So I mean, would she have gone over to it? Did she even have the chance or opportunity? Oh, we've got modern day imagery. Wow. Entrance only. What does that say? Star Point Trading Post General Store. A general store. Right. Open and trailers over there. One way. Right, okay. Not exactly helpful. Anything here? No, it's still taking forever to load up. Well, this is not going too well. What's back here though? Is this the truck stop? This looks like it is the truck stop. It said Trucker's Chapel. What happens if I click on that? Where does it take me? Alright. Entering Pucker Brush. Oh, okay. Good view of the area on the side of the road. Truck stop over there, TA. Got a subway. So is that a possibility Christine could have gone to? But if her vehicle is for some reason stuck near or within Eugene Mountains, did she walk all the way back to the highway and walk down to the truck stop to get picked up by a trucker to hitchhike that way? Did she call in at the store, possibly? Even if she just simply walked past or nearby, what about the CCTV footage? right? Whilst, yeah, you look at sightings of Christine, you know, in different places. What about potential CCTV footage nearby to where a truck was found? If there is any. I know there probably isn't at Eugene Mountains, but this truck stop, there might be something, if she did pass by or not. I mean, Miss T mentioned about possible trail cams out there, if there are any. Maybe that could be of use. Just get a bit closer. Just see what the stop looks like. Travel store, professional drivers, Subway, Taco Bell, or as Americans say, Taco Bell. There's all the trucks lined up. So at least it provides a bit of context now as to where it's actually at. Is that where you can fill up, maybe? Looks like it. Yeah. Quite a lot of stations. Mega pack. Beef jerky, $10.99. Is that a good price? I don't know. Mayfair, $2.99. Warning, this product is... I don't know what that says. Looks like it could be a busy place at times. Got some like storage units back out that way. Oh, what's that? A casino? Alamo Casino. Interesting place to have it. Has anyone been to here? Anyone watching right now, have you been to this place before? Got tyres. Oh, it's more for trucks there, isn't it? Apologies if there's any background sound. It's because I've got the tripod on the wardrobe. So there's, you know, if there's any clicking, it's just like rattle, right? Not much you can do at this moment in time. There's some cars over there though. Don't know if it's recovery. At first I thought, wow, that's a long truck with a long trailer, but there was another trailer behind it. Bit of an optical illusion, that. Mountains in the distance. So you got the idea of the location. Let's now focus on Eugene Mountain with the theory in mind. I'll have to look at the project, won't I? God damn it. There we go. I mean, look, there's the examples of some of the other timelines and stuff I've done related to Dylan Brown's case, if you're wondering. Just wanted to load that up because I had to close down Google Earth before I load it back up because it was taking forever to load, as you saw with the pixelated images. So, where was the actual coordinates given? Well, the coordinates, what I saw on Facebook, I think were in the area of the name of the marker, like where mine is, but I don't think the coordinates were saying that's exactly where the vehicle was found. It was like within the area, so it's not exactly precise. So it's open to interpretation. That's why I've highlighted the whole area as being, you know, a possible place of interest. Let's move that a bit closer to the tripod. You've got the lower ground, of course, but the mountain area, although maybe it doesn't look too big on the maps, quite a bit of distance when you look at the photos ground level. We have looked at photos beforehand of the area, but maybe I've not spent long enough analysing it. Kind of like situation with Aidan Clune, right? When you're looking at the mountain area there, Cherry Creek Mountains, it's kind of the same here. And we'll just put into that backstory first before we go any further with Eugene Mountains. So wherever it may be, okay? Not quite sure exactly where the vehicle was found, stuck. Likely stuck on maybe one of the dirt roads, dirt trails, getting stuck in a ditch or going over some rocks, some loose gravel or something. Was it caused by her? You know, was she driving it at the time? Maybe. Not quite sure. Likely she would have been in the vehicle, of course, and probably the dogs too. But was anyone else in the car with her, whether it be welcomed or an unwelcomed visitor who may have took over? Did the vehicle get stuck because Christine wasn't focusing when driving? Or if somebody else was present in the vehicle at the time, did they try driving her to this location for other reasons? Like following the theory of a kidnapping? There's no real proof to suggest, there's no real proof at this moment in time to say that Christine has been kidnapped. It's just a theory. It's just trying to work out why would she end up at Eugene Mountains of all places. Okay, you might have those sightings now where she's in different cities, but it's not been 100% confirmed yet. So that's why we're just looking back at maybe a more confirmed last known spot by her, trying to understand what caused her to go here. Was anyone else with her? And that's basically it. If some of the things do tick the box, right, possibilities that she could still be within this area, would she be? Or would she make an attempt to maybe go to the highway and walk back? Depends. You know, if you get stuck getting out your vehicle, you can't use it anymore, so you have to go on foot, you have to walk. Why would she leave items behind? The phone, the purse or whatever, the card. Why would you leave it behind? This is the thing. In other cases, right, when you don't know the backstories or additional factors, you would be in this situation, stuck, confused and lost. But with knowing of Christine's, do you call it medical condition, internal damage to the brain due to the accident in the past, falling and hitting one's head, and due to not taking medication at the time, which was suggested that she didn't take the medication, hence why she ended up at Battle Mountain, Nevada in the first place, and then whatever happened and followed. That by not thinking clearly, by being confused, not knowing exactly where you are or what you're going to do next, maybe that's the reasoning to why she ended up here. If you're not quite in that right mindset or focus, you might get distracted. You might have other thoughts on your mind, hence why she got stuck in this area. As for getting out the car, maybe panicking, not knowing what to do, maybe. Is that why she left the phone and the card behind, because she was too preoccupied with other things? Possibly, right? So, in a case like this where things don't quite make sense or may not exactly add up, with knowing about her medical issues, that could be one of the reasons to explain it all, possibly, right? But if we are going down that line of she's considered vulnerable, that she can be overly friendly, as described on the Facebook page, that if she was to meet someone, that someone could take advantage of her, such as a kidnapping situation, and that's why they ended up at the Eugene Mountains area. Now, to be honest, you had that hunter, right? 15th of August, within the area, and stumbled across a vehicle. That's all they found. They didn't find Christine. The hunter didn't see any dogs, so maybe that could suggest that she's simply not within this area, and that's it. I guess time will tell. I mean, if there's any friends, family members watching, whilst there might be focus in Oregon and Las Vegas more likely, my question is, and feel free to answer it down below, do any of the family members or friends of Christine Passey Parker think that maybe it's worth searching this area again, like now or maybe in the future? Is that a possibility, or is it completely ticked off the list now? Whilst the other sightings may not be 100% confirmed, but still worth investigating. What about Eugene Mountains itself, where her vehicle was found? Would you say it's ticked off the list, or is it still a place of interest as to where she could possibly be at? Does this location need any further searches or investigations? Let me know your thoughts down below. I think, was it on East Idaho News where it gave like a description of the search teams, the search efforts? Was it the usage of a flyby or something within the area, checking, trying to find and locate her? They didn't find anyone, so is that it? I wonder, like, depending on who's been there, if anyone has been to Eugene Mountains, how big is the area? How deep is it? How concealed are certain areas, whether it be vegetation or the depth, the gradient, the shadows casted? Are there any caves within Eugene Mountains? Are there any mine shafts within the mountains? Let me know down below, because you can interpret it in different ways, of course. But if there's caves or mine shafts, if you are thinking along the dark route that maybe there's a kidnapping, she could have been taken to one of those zones. Though, if that's not the case, but she was walking around on the mountains, on some of the slopes, she could have tripped, she could have fell, she could have rolled down and, got injured in some way. Just possibilities, not facts, just ideas, that's it. Now, when you look at mine shafts or caves on the maps, it's not always that easy to find, right? I mean, you got a lot of these, they're not pathways. What are they? Are they springs? Do you call it a spring or do you call it a wash? One or the other, where water trickles down from the mountain. Just basically look around the area. Does anything stand out? I mean, you look at the side of there. Whoa. That's been dug out or something from the looks of it as it drops down there. Wow. So there is activity going on down here, more like man-made type stuff. Digging as well as here. A quarry? Is this a quarry? Looks like it could be. These holes in the ground and stuff, some of them are quite deep. And then what's going on here on this side? What's all those like scrape marks? That looks creepy. What's that all about? Can anyone explain that? Those markings. Now, just as a heads up, Bing Maps is available. Bing Maps is more up to date, but not exactly up to date. Newer than this though. But you can't flip the image. You can't get like low down to the ground. So that's why I'm just using this one. If satellite imagery was more relevant to the day Christine Parker ended up going missing, then yeah, I would have used that. But we don't have access to that. More markings. See, the thing is, there's not enough walking space, right? It's very bumpy, even lower down, very bumpy and in a way a constant gradient, but then at times influxes. So to be walking along it, not exactly practical, right? Yeah, there'll be routes through, as we saw with the photos, but still, in other areas, it's just not exactly practical. Like here, I don't know if that is a dirt road or if it's a path to walk on. Kind of hard to tell. That isn't. Maybe if you follow it down, does it lead? That does look like a dirt road, that, yeah. Dirt road, and maybe it turns off. Man-made dirt roads over time. You follow it up and then it goes into the mountains. But this thing, just as a heads up once again, to understand, right, for whatever reason why Christine was within this area, to get the vehicle stuck doesn't seem that hard, because from what some of the key people said within the case, that when the search teams or the police were within the area, they couldn't even use four-wheel drive, which would normally be used in these type of areas. It just wasn't possible because it was that rough, I guess. So, puts things into perspective. What was it? A 2011 charcoal Tacoma Toyota SUV she was driving also. What are those vehicles like in that type of terrain and condition? Good or bad? Miller's Spring. No photos from the looks of it. We'll see if there's any additional photos though. That looks like one of those things for cattle, animals maybe. Water. But you know, when you zoom in here, there's a lot of surface area even just on the map, so... I mean, there's a dirt road here which goes up and over, as you can see. As I don't know which angle she entered from. But whilst I'm glancing over this, if you notice anything on the maps, you notice anything within the mountain range, possible locations to search, to check, let me know down below. Leave a timestamp if you see a cave. They don't always show up though on the maps. Dry Creek. Seems to be a main road there. Dry Creek Road. Is that the one that goes all the way through? Well, goes through the lower ground of it because it's higher up there. But that is so bumpy that. I've not really seen that before. No, that really is bumpy, the area. Pretty demanding as well. Just trying to look for dark patches, right? Is that a road itself? Wow, right on the edge. And it works all the way down there. Very windy road, right? Connects eventually onto the Dwight D. Eisenhower Highway. Wow, it's a lot to take in. So just a quick question. Has Eugene Mountains been fully searched? Fully searched? Or are there still areas and patches where, you know, need checking out? I understand, though. I understand prioritising other areas where there's been tips, reportings of sightings. But just as a heads up, you know, as for the family members or friends, if it ever gets to that point where those tip-offs, those sightings run dry and you don't really get anywhere, always refer back to Eugene Mountains as a starting point, right? Just in case. Because then there's always something to fall back on. If you've always got something to fall back on, then you don't feel as lost. We got Bonita Canyon, Maria Bonita. Can I check the... No, I can't. Sometimes it will let you view the images, but it won't here. That's more of an established road, that, from the looks of it, the way it stands out. I wonder how much gas she had left in the tank as for her vehicle, I wonder. Out of interest. And was she speeding on the highway at the time or driving normal speed? Seems very tight and compact within this area. North Fork Bonita Canyon. Up here you got more dirt roads, as you can see, with the track marks. I'm just following them as for like a possible route. If you was working your way up here, or if you're Christine at the time, what would you be doing in this area out of interest? I think that's cattle, that white stuff. I think, they're the cows. That's a cow. Yeah. Miss T. Miss T. Are you present? I don't know. But we got the cows, at least we found them, finally. It splits off to the right, but I think there is less of a pathway because it's more just grass, greenery. Carries on up to Swozer Spring. But it's just very narrow. Not exactly wide. And then there's a pathway which goes off this way. And then kind of works its way up, zigzagging up to higher up, but it just seems very awkward. Personally, I don't think she would have made it to the top of the mountain or pretty high up. I think it would have been maybe on lower ground. If you disagree, let me know. But then look at this area down here. Obviously, it depends on the season. But on this side, on the face, it's very green. And if you do have possible vegetation, whether it be she's rolled down a hill into a bush or a tree nearby or any other reason, could she be concealed? I wonder. As I said, just a theory, taking into account what other people have said recently and just seeing it from their perspective. That's all we're doing. Woody Springs. A couple of trees there, a small space. Pretty clear that though, visually. On this side of the mountain, it's not as bumpy. It's steeper, but not as bumpy, is it? When you look over here, it's like hemorrhoids. Bit smoother though on this other side. Reminds me more of Bald Eagle mountain range in a way in Nevada. Dana Spring. Is that a road? A dirt road? Possibly. Follows off into Woody Canyon. So there's an access point there from the looks of it. Very steep once again. Apologies if I keep stepping back. It's just because my arms are in pain because of doing a recent workout. It's strained the muscles within the arms, so I can't extend my arms. So my arms are like a T-Rex. It's been like that for a couple of days now. Very stiff. So it kind of aches when I'm holding the camera. I just take little breaks. Not much going on there. Whoa, what's going on there? It's just kicked me off. Google Earth playing up once again. I don't know where I'm at now. Woody Canyon. As I said, you can share your thoughts in the chat as we do go along, whether you agree or disagree, or if you've got any additional thoughts, theories, or updates. I said, if there are updates right now, tomorrow, whenever, I will cover other videos, right? We're on the lower ground area here. Not too much going on. We've got Coral Canyon there. If you do want me to refer to any other locations on the map regarding this case, let me know down below in the comment section, and I'll follow that up. I've not seen any caves personally. Not yet. Just more greenery on one side than the other. Of course, if this area has been fully searched all over and nothing found, then maybe it can be ruled out. I think, to be honest, that will probably be it for here. Do we have any? Was there any main entrances though? Not really, because from this side it was more of. Is it private? Is there any private areas? Probably not. Just check for additional images. That's the thing. It's weird. That's the only one you got there. That circle. This is the only spot someone has uploaded. So you get that idea of how steep it is down there. Not exactly practical, is it? Even the roads, dirt paths, very windy, up and down, zigzagging. Wow, that's very steep down there. It's pretty extreme. Do we have any additional photos within the area, roughly speaking? Oh, well, we've got one more. We'll just check it out now. What's the one down here? Unless we've already checked it. It's like on the way to Eugene Mountains. That sign or a pipe? Don't know. Overhead lines. Dirt road, very rough and rugged. Someone's hat. Oh, it's a person. What are they doing? What hat they're wearing? I don't know. There's the vehicle there. Oh, is this a hunter? I wonder if this is like an example of a hunter. Maybe. Does he have his camo? No, he doesn't have camo on. But there's like maybe camouflage in the vehicle or someone behind the wheel. Interesting. So that should be Eugene Mountains over that way, from the looks of it. And then, is it over there, the highway or something? Yeah, interesting. Very vast, once again, vast. A lot of distance, right? I think probably leave it there for now. Hopefully the camera angle's okay in the audio. I've just adjusted the tripod once again. I don't know if I'll stick with it or use another one. But even in that area, if that idea of kidnapping doesn't apply, it could apply elsewhere. It could apply any place, anytime. It just depends what happens next, right? Christine Parker, you know, will there be updates of sightings anywhere else? All I would say is, if there are any more additional sightings by different people within the Las Vegas area, seems like we're following more of a strengthened pattern, right? That must be Las Vegas, the area. If that really was the case, is there any friends or family members that could confirm whether Christine has been to Las Vegas before in the past? Yes or no? Is she familiar with the area? Was there ever any vacations down there? Is there any family members or friends or anybody else that lives in Las Vegas? Just, you know, if you're able to, feel free to answer down below. And yeah, that's it at this moment in time. Hopefully you found the video somewhat interesting. And yeah, I guess that's it for now. We'll see what happens next. And when I can maintain more focus, I'll cover maybe Kenny Beach. Just try and let my arms rest in between because they're so stiff. It's crazy. But yeah, I'll see you for now. Thanks for watching. Goodbye and good night.